Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. As part of Fraud Prevention Month, our goal today is simple: to help you recognize how to protect yourself from today's scams.
Hi, I'm Chuck Meredith, Vice President of Enterprise Authentication and Fraud at VyStar Credit Union, leading the team responsible for fraud prevention, detection, and member protection.
And I'm Nicole Altizer, Senior Vice President of Operations at VyStar Credit Union, and I work closely with our fraud teams to make sure we're protecting our members through strong, smart operational practices. We're really glad you joined us today because scammers are getting more sophisticated both online and in our branches. What we want to do today is walk through the most common scams we're seeing and, more importantly, the tactics behind them, so you can recognize them quickly and stop them in their tracks. Right now, that includes things like imposter scams, urgent payment requests, account takeover attempts, investment fraud, and lottery or prize schemes. Once you understand how these scams work, it becomes much easier to spot the red flags before any real damage is done.
And if you've already been a victim, don't be embarrassed. Scammers don't discriminate. They target everyone, regardless of age, background, or experience. Today we'll expose the most common tactics and show you how to stay informed, vigilant, and one step ahead. But before we put a spotlight on the scams themselves, we want to share with you how VyStar works behind the scenes to protect you every day. We use advanced fraud monitoring systems that review transactions in real time and flag unusual activity. Our dedicated fraud specialists review these alerts and contact members when something doesn't look right. Our goal is to stop fraud before you even know there was an attempt. Our controls include multi-factor authentication, passwords, and PINs. Multi-factor authentication just means we add an extra step to make sure it's really you, something like a one-time passcode sent to your phone or email. Secure digital banking protection. Think of it as multiple locks and alarms working together to keep your digital banking secure. Member-controlled card controls. Member-controlled card controls means members can turn features on and off themselves, like locking a card, setting spending limits, or restricting when a card can be used right from their own mobile app. Passwords and PINs are what you select yourself, and no member of the VyStar team can even see them or should ever ask for them. So if anyone asks for your password or your PIN, is an instant red flag to stop conversation or communication. And finally, all of our technology and systems are updated regularly to stay ahead of threats.
But protection isn't just technology. It's education too, from fraud alerts to keeping members informed, online tools and in-branch presentations, and webinars like this one. Fraud is always evolving, and so are we. Our focus is protecting your accounts, your identity, and your peace of mind. Throughout this webinar, you are going to hear us refer to using one-time passcodes. That's because this is a critical tool that we use to protect you, but scammers try to get you to share with them. So here is the rule. If you call VyStar, we may send you a one-time passcode to confirm it's really you.
What's important to remember is this. We only send one-time passcodes when you contact us. If VyStar calls you, we will never ask for a one-time passcode. If anyone ever calls you and asks for a one-time passcode, that's a huge red flag to hang up immediately and call us directly. One-time passcode is also referred to as an OTP. So here's a simple phrase to help you remember this rule. If you call me, I will send an OTP, but if I call you, there's no verify to do. We'll repeat this throughout our time today. It also leads us to an important reminder that there are other things we will never ask for, no matter what the situation. A VyStar representative will never ask you for your online banking username or password, your card PIN for your debit or your credit card, your card's 3-digit security code, CVV or CVC. If anyone asks for these, it's a scam. Stop, hang up, and contact us directly. This part is important and should serve as a giant red flags.
Now that you know what VyStar is doing to protect you, we want you to know how you can do your part. Protection against fraud has to be a partnership for it to work. So let's start with one of the fastest growing scams we're seeing right now. It's the imposter scam. This is where scammers pretend to be someone you trust. It could be your financial institution, a government agency, a well-known company, tech support, a utility provider, or they may even pose as a family member. They might reach out to you by phone, text, email, or a message you on social media. And the approach is always the same, to create a sense of urgency or fear so you react quickly without stopping to verify what's really going on.
Here are common ways these scams may show up. You may get a call that looks like it's coming from a legitimate business, warnings about unpaid tolls, fines for missing jury duty, or unpaid taxes, a text warning about suspicious activity with your account. It could be an email about a delayed package, a message claiming a loved one in trouble needing money right away, or a warrant for your arrest. If you receive one of these calls, texts, or messages, the most important thing to do is pause before taking action. If it's a text, don't click the link without first looking at the number it's coming from. If it's a fraud warning and it's a full number, do not reply. It's a scam. For example, at VyStar, we use a short code system. That means the caller ID on your phone looks like it's coming from a 5 to 6 digit number, not a full phone number. So if you see the short code, it's okay to respond with a yes or no response. Another example is that if we, VyStar, call you to verify a transaction, we will ask your name and we will tell you the last 4 digits of the card in question and ask if you made this purchase. We would ask about a couple additional transactions as well to verify if you made them. If you respond that the transaction wasn't you, we will not ask you for any identifying information. The key thing to remember here is that we will tell you all the details and that the transaction information we will not ask you to tell us. If it feels urgent or the person pressures you to act quickly, that's a red flag. Here's another tip. It's a good idea to pause and say, I want to take notes. That gives you a second to think and gives you a good record in case the caller turns out to be a scammer. Write down the information you're sharing and ask yourself, does this seem like information I should give out over the phone? If it seems like the person on the phone is asking for too much personal information, ask for the representative's name and extension number. Hang up and call the organization directly. Use a trusted number like the ones on your card, the website, or a previous bank statement. Don't be afraid to hang up and call directly, especially at VyStar. Your security is our priority. Besides slowing down to take notes, the other reason notes will be helpful is that it will help our trained team to know how to verify the call you were on or best next steps to protect you and your information. We have multiple contingency plans to help our members, but they all depend on the information shared. We even have cards available in our branches that have all our contact information so you can keep it in your wallet and have it handy with our website and our phone numbers. Just ask for one next time you're in the branch. And remember, when in doubt, just reach out. We'd much rather you check with us than take a risk.
Another concerning trend we're seeing, especially in our branches, is that scammers are now coaching victims to go to the branch and pull out money. In many cases, they even stay on the phone for hours with their victim to make sure they complete the transaction. They will tell their victims exactly what to say when they come in or call their bank. The reason they do this is simple. They don't want the branch to know the scam is happening. So they might say things like, don't tell the bank what this is for. They'll block your transaction. Bank employees are involved. The branch is under investigation. We're watching you on camera. If anyone tells you not to be honest with your financial institution, stop right there.
Also know that no member of law enforcement will randomly call you and ask you to participate or directly involve your hard-earned money in any investigation or police activity. Law enforcement will never do that. This is a major red flag that you're dealing with a scammer. Our branch teams are trained to spot unusual activity, and when they ask you questions about your transaction, especially if it's a large withdrawal, it's not an inconvenience to you. It's to protect you and keep your money safe. So always be truthful with your answers.
Another scam we're seeing that's on the rise involves fraudsters pressuring people to send money quickly. They'll tell you that it's the only way to resolve an urgent problem. They will instruct you to quickly send the money through things like wire transfers, Zelle, gift cards, cryptocurrency, or even cash pickups. Now, while some legitimate companies do accept services like Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, or Western Union, they will never ask you to send money to a specific person or to someone who is supposedly handling your case. Real payments go to an official company name using known and trusted channels. If anyone tells you to send money to an individual, that's a scam. And here's the big red flags to remember. Legitimate organizations do not ever demand payments through gift cards, cryptocurrency, or rushed person-to-person transfers. When urgency is involved, that's your first sign to stop because it's a scam.
So we've talked about scams that pressure you to move money quickly. The next one we want to cover is a little different, and it's a growing threat we're seeing more of. It's called an account takeover, and it often starts with something that seems pretty simple. Here's how it usually plays out. A scammer may have already gotten some of your information from a data breach or an online source. They try to log into your account using the information, which then triggers a legitimate one-time passcode sent to you for verification. But here's the scam. They know they've triggered you to receive a one-time passcode to verify it's you trying to log in. Then they contact you or call or text pretending to be your bank or a fraud department saying something like, "We've just sent you a code. Read it back to us so we can verify your identity." What's really happening is they're trying to use the legitimate code you received to finish logging in to take over your account. That one-time passcode is your digital key, and it should never be shared with anyone. We told you at the beginning of this webinar, and here's the reminder. VyStar will never ask you for a one-time passcode if we call you. Remember, if you call me, I will send an OTP. But if I call you, there's no verify to do. I want to talk a little more about account takeover scams. The most popular account takeover scam happens online. Members land on fake websites that look real, and they type their usernames and passwords. But a good rule of thumb, especially if you aren't familiar with the site, is to click on a few different features on the page and see if the window's open to other pages or if the features work on the site before entering your credentials. But if the site keeps prompting you to put in your username and password before taking you anywhere else on the site, that site could be fake. Also, a good tip to stay safe is to put your financial institution's website in your Favorites tab and always open your online banking from there.
So while a lot of scams try to scare you to act fast or make you think something's wrong, lottery and prize scams work the opposite way. They start with excitement. You'll get a message congratulating you and telling you that you've won. Then comes the catch. They'll ask you to pay fees first, things like taxes, shipping, insurance, or processing before you can collect your prize. Here's the simple truth. If you didn't enter a contest, you didn't win. And even if you did enter something, you should never have to pay upfront fees to receive legitimate winnings. So remember these key points. If you didn't enter, you didn't win. Never pay to claim a prize. Never share personal or banking information to get so-called prize money. And always take a moment to verify independently before taking any action.
So we've talked about scams that happen online and over the phone, but some scams happen very close to home. We've seen cases where scammers tell members to leave their debit cards under a doormat or somewhere outside a branch, claiming it needs to be picked up and returned to them later. They might say there's been fraud on your account, your card must be replaced right away, or that a bank representative is on the way to retrieve it, that you will get your card back after we verify it. It's important to know this. No financial institution, including VyStar, will ever ask you to leave your debit card outside a branch, under your doormat, or hand it off secretly to someone coming to your home to pick it up. Your card should always stay in your possession, or be destroyed securely if it's no longer needed. Any request that involves secrecy or urgency around giving your card, sharing your PIN, or handing over your cash is a scam.
Now that we've gone through the different ways scammers try to get your money, let's shift gears and focus on what you can do to protect yourself. Fraud prevention is a partnership and works effectively when we do it together. There are some simple steps you can take that will make a big difference. Start by protecting your credentials. Never share your password and be aware of when it's appropriate to use a one-time passcode. Turn on account alerts and keep an eye on your accounts. Take a minute to review individual transactions so you can spot anything that doesn't look right. Don't just check the balance. Use strong, unique passwords for your accounts. Avoid reusing the same passwords across sites and consider a credible password manager or a long, memorable passphrase to keep things secure. And remember, urgency is a tactic. If something feels rushed, pause. Take a moment to verify by contacting the organization directly using a phone number or website you type in yourself. When it comes to VyStar, always go directly to our site by typing in vystarcu.org yourself. Don't click links in unsolicited or unexpected messages. If something feels off, stop and call us. And finally, when in doubt, just reach out at 904-777-6000 or 800-445-6289. Remember, we have cards in our branches for you to keep our website and phone numbers handy. We're here to help.
As we wrap up, let's take a moment to pull all this together and focus on the main things we want you to remember. First, pay attention to red flags. Urgency, secrecy, and requests for hard-to-trace payments like gift cards, cryptocurrency, cash, Bitcoin machines, person-to-person transfers to someone you don't know, or wires to unfamiliar recipients are major warning flags. Your login credentials and one-time passcodes are your digital keys. Keep them private and never share them with anyone. Legitimate organizations won't ask you to lie to your financial institution, leave your card somewhere, or pay fees just to claim a prize.
Fraud prevention really is a partnership. VyStar provides monitoring and security tools, but your awareness plays an equally important role. Trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, stop and take time to verify. People tell us all the time they had that moment where something felt off and they didn't listen to their instincts.
Now we're going to answer some questions that you sent in when you registered for this webinar. Please know there are no bad questions. If it's crossed your mind, chances are someone else is wondering the same thing.
The first question we received is, how do people get your personal information? People get your personal information in several ways. Sometimes companies you do business with, like your email provider, insurance company, or even a store, experience data breaches that expose customer information. Criminals also gather details from your social media profiles or anything you share publicly online. Using open public Wi-Fi can put your information at risk if the network isn't secure. Even public charging stations can be unsafe because some can capture data from your devices while it's plugged in.
The next question, what is the bank's responsibility when a scammer uses a card skimmer to withdraw money from my checking account? When a scammer uses a skimmer to steal your card information and withdraw money, the bank's responsibility is to file a dispute and investigate all the unauthorized transactions. All banks follow similar processes. At VyStar, our cards have both a chip and magnetic strip. Skimmers usually capture only the magnetic strip, so a duplicate card won't work at our ATMs because the chip and strip must match from the transaction to go through. To help protect yourself from skimmers, use Tap and Go when making purchases. This uses the chip only and avoids traditional skimming. Avoid entering your PIN except at the ATM. Using your debit card as a signature transaction keeps your PIN from being exposed.
Another question submitted. I keep getting phone calls about a pre-approved loan. I know it's fake, but blocking the number doesn't work. What can I do? I get these texts and calls on my cell as well, so I understand your pain and understand the headache. You're getting these calls because scammers use huge batches of rotating phone numbers. Blocking one doesn't help. They just switch to the next number in their system. Adding your number to the Do Not Call registry can help with legitimate businesses, but scammers usually ignore it. The best thing you can do is stop answering unknown numbers. When you pick up, their system flags your number as active and calls you even more. Let unknown calls go to voicemail and use caller ID to screen them. Over time, the calls should slow down, though they may not stop completely.
Another great question. What is the best way to manage banking while traveling or on vacation? The best way to manage your banking while traveling is to let us know when your traveling plans are, and so we can place travel alerts on your cards. This helps us recognize transactions from different locations and prevents unnecessary declines. You can also use card controls to lock any cards you won't need or to set up alerts for extra security while you're away.
Last question. What should you do if you believe you've been a victim of fraud? If you think you've been a victim of fraud, contact us right away, either by calling directly or visiting a local branch. We can help determine whether fraud actually occurred, and if it did, start the process to protect your accounts. When it comes to fraud, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Thank you again for the great questions and for spending time with us today. We hope walking through these scams and the tactics behind them help you feel more confident spotting red flags and stopping fraud before it goes any further.
If you want to keep learning, we have a lot of helpful fraud prevention information available on the VyStar website, including tips, resources, and updates on the latest scams we're seeing. It's a great place to bookmark and come back to any time something doesn't feel quite right.
And we'd also like to invite you to one of our upcoming free in-person fraud education sessions. It's called Defending Your Dollars: Smart Strategies Against Financial Fraud, and it will take place on May 27th from 5:30 to 6:15 p.m. It will be held at the VyStar Financial Fitness Center on the second floor of the Corner at Deb's store in Jacksonville. It's a great opportunity to dig a little deeper, ask questions, and walk away with practical tools that you can use every day to protect yourself and your finances. Please be sure to sign up online. You can register on the financial fitness page at vystarcu.org/financialfitness. Space is limited, so we encourage you to sign up ahead of time. VyStar is proud to be your partner in staying safe from scams.
And as always, remember, when in doubt, just reach out. We're here to help.